Get ready with me while I tell you guys about the story that I got sent. So it started off by me meeting this guy a few months before COVID started. We were texting for a while, getting to know each other, and eventually I started to like him. We were going out, and eventually my girl best friend moved around my area. We were hanging out a lot, and I eventually told her about my boyfriend. She was happy for me, but then she started acting weird. She hits him up, and he ends up sending me a screenshot of her trying to get at him. She asked me if I wanted to hang out, so I was like, okay, sure. So whenever I went to her house, I ended up confronting her about it. She got mad at me and told me why I would ever think that she'll hit up on my boyfriend, but then I showed her the proof. After I showed her the proof, she kicked me out of her house, and I went straight to my boyfriend's house. When I went to my boyfriend's house, I told him what happened, and he told me to drop her. So then I dropped her, and then COVID started, so I couldn't see my boyfriend as much. We take a little break because COVID did start and we couldn't really see each other, but we'll still text seeing how we were doing. Then my best friend sends me a snap of them together. And the reason why they had a chance seeing each other more is because they were in a gated community together and they lived like 30 seconds away from each other. When she sent me the snap, she didn't have one boyfriend, but she had two. But then I stab her back and tell her what she's doing with my ex, and she just blocks me. But then I text my ex and I tell him that I want nothing to do with him and that I don't want to hear from him anymore. Moving forward to this year, we talked about it and made a solution. Now we're all good with each other, but we're not friends. Okay, that is the end of the story, but let me give you guys some feedback. First of all, that friend isn't your friend. And I hope that you cut contact with her, and if you did, good job. I know it's hard to cut off contact with a friend that you're best friends with, but if you did so, proud of you. And for your ex to be letting himself like that, and then your ex, he doesn't even have any respect, so don't go back to him. I know how girls be with their ex, just don't go back. At the end of the day, keep your head up and be careful on who you hang out with.
Story time on how I got detention from a teacher when they asked me how much I earned. Yeah, you heard it right. So when I was at school, obviously kids in class would talk about like, oh, she does social media, things like this. But there was one day that it was actually really frustrating me. Long story short, we was in a computer class and I had a pretty crap day anyways, but that was besides the point. We were in this computer class, and if you know, you don't do work in a computer class. If you've ever been to a British school, you'd know that's never the case. So we're in this computer class and people thought it'd be funny to like search me up on the thing to be like, oh look, it's Emily. So they was looking on famous birthdays. It's one of my friends. He was like, oh look, famous birthdays, it's Emily. So we would all just like laugh and whatever, and I never thought it was that deep. Like it's funny, like yeah, it's cool, it's so cool. So I was like laughing along, and then my teacher comes over and like, wait, that's you? I was like, yeah, that's me. And they was like, what do you do? I was like, oh, I do social media. And my teacher was like, that's crazy, I never knew. And at first she was being really polite, so I was like, oh, I don't mind. I will always talk to someone about what I do. I think it's really like cool what I do. So I was like, yeah, I do social media. They was like, oh, do you get paid? And at first I just thought like, why does the first thing that comes into your head is how much money your kid's earning? But like, whatever, you're going to be curious, I get that. That was the first question she asked. So I was like, oh, yeah, I do get money, but I don't do it for the money because I actually really enjoy doing it. Like, it's such a cool hobby to have and to be able to post online. So I didn't start for the money, I started because I really enjoyed it. And then she was like, is it a lot of money? And I was like, She was like, how much do you earn per video? I was like, you don't get like a set money per video. I was like, it varies. She was like, so how much would you get in a month? And I was just really like, wow, like how are you asking a child how much they're earning? So I just turned around and went, would you be like okay with me asking you how much you earn a month? No. I was like, and I just looked at her and she was like, get out. I was like, why am I getting out? She was like, because you're talking back. I was like, but you just asked, and she was like, get out. So I go outside, and then she comes out and she's like, I don't appreciate the way you spoke to me. I was just being curious. And I said, okay, well, there's being curious and there's being straight up rude. I was like, I wouldn't ask a teacher how much they earn, therefore I don't appreciate you asking how much I earn. I was like, what the hell? Like, there's kids in there, I don't want everyone hearing. So yeah, I got detention because I don't want to tell a teacher how much I earn. So yeah, I got a C1, which is a behaviour point, and then I got put into an after school for an hour. And that is why you do not want to be an influencer in school. Joking. It's the best thing ever. But that is the only problem that I had, was with teachers asking me that.
I feel like this is gonna sound mean, but being friends with an insecure girl can be one of the worst experiences. Specifically, insecure girls who really crave male attention. The issue is they will always be in a competition with you. It doesn't matter like how pretty they are, how much they have, they will always want to tear you down and take from you. I dealt with this one girl who I thought was a really close friend. We were friends for like 4 years, I think. And at first it wasn't very noticeable because I literally looked up to her. I was like, wow, she's so pretty and she has everything. Everybody likes her, she's smart. And it wasn't until years later, after I finally cut her off, that I realized how toxic she was. So we usually hung out in a group of 3, and the first red flag was whenever the other girl had a crush and she expressed it, this girl would immediately start pursuing that guy, even though she had no connection to him prior. The other friend only ever had crushes on guys that she was already friends with, but this other girl had no connection to him until her friend was interested in him, and then all of a sudden she's messaging him. She actually ended up dating 3 of those guys that my friend had a crush on. The other friend just was like, okay, whatever. I think the other friend valued the friendship more than a guy, so she wasn't like willing to let a guy get in between their relationship. Anyway, I never really expressed interest in dating to her because, I mean, look at the way she acts. Also wasn't really interested in dating at the time, like it was just not a priority for me. One day she asked me about this and I said, I haven't really felt the need to date. And after that, she went around speculating about my sexuality. I remember there was this one guy who she thought was really cute, and one day he told her he thought I was cute. I was not interested in this guy at all. This actually really upset her, and she came to me and said like, I think it's so funny that he thinks you're cute. That made me feel really bad about myself because I was like, oh, she thinks I'm ugly. She thinks that it's funny that somebody would find me cute. And that's where you can really see our perceptions were different, because while she valued so much how men perceived her, I really valued her opinion. So her telling me that affected me more than him saying that I was cute. She would always be trying to compete with me. This goes for everything, like even career path, like classes I was taking. Like no matter what, she was always in a competition with me. And it was so exhausting. It's like she was always trying to prove to herself that she was better than me, prettier than me. Looking back, I do wonder why I stayed friends with her for so long. There's really only so much you can take from a friendship, and she's one of those dangerous types of friends who tears apart your confidence. And that's why I've sworn off being friends with insecure girls who care too much about what men think of.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys how I got cheated on my birthday. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I dyed my hair even blonde. Ooh! This specific year, I was gonna celebrate my birthday in the Bahamas. The guy that I was seeing at the time was also gonna go to the Bahamas with all his friends. It was like all my friends, all his friends, like it was gonna be so much fun. I'm staying in a townhouse with all my friends and my mom. My mom came, okay? I was 17 or 18 at the time. I'm like texting this man like, hey, I want to meet up. He's like kind of ignoring me. Next day comes around, him and his friends are throwing a huge party at one of the venues there. Now to think about it, it was so lame. My friends and I golf cart to the venue because he's like, yeah, I'll get you guys all like free tickets. I get my tickets, I hug him, I say my goodbyes. I'm still not thinking anything weird because mind you, my friends loved him, okay? And I had some really bad boyfriends. He's finally off and back at his. So I was like, oh, like come see us, like come say hi to my mom, come see us, come over. This man refused to come to the townhouse we were staying in, and it was so weird. I was like, why don't you want to come see me, like it's my birthday weekend? So my mom, me, and one of my friends golf carted to where he was staying at, and I was like, hey, I'm outside, like come out. He did not come out. He was so weird. I was honestly just so excited to go to this party. I get there, I see him, everything's great, right? He's so sweet, he's saying hi to all my friends, he's dancing with me, I'm having the time of my life. I want to preface this by saying this was a few years ago. I am like 23 now, but we weren't even like officially boyfriend girlfriend, but like to me we were, because we were exclusive. He like randomly disappears from my eyesight. As my friends and I do a lap to try to find him, we cannot find him for the life of us. Randomly I turn around and there he is, my man, on the dance floor grinding up on some girl. That's not even the worst part, by the way. There's like way more to the story. I don't really remember exactly what I said, but I was like, I'm breaking up with you, right? So he's talking to me outside and he's like, you're being so dramatic, like you want to break up, like is this for real, is this for real? I was like, this is for real, whatever. So we golf cart home, I'm bawling my eyes out, and then I lock myself in my room. Happy birthday to me. A few months later, I go to like this random pregame in Miami, and I'm pretty sure like most of his friend group was there. They were like, we hate blank. Let's just call him Bob, okay? And I was like, why do you guys hate Bob? Like I hate Bob, but like why do you guys hate Bob? Also, we're gonna try a black blush together, so I'm nervous. So the tea was that Bob
the first day that he got there was texting, flirting with some girl on the phone, and all his friends were like, who's that? And he was being super secretive and like he wouldn't tell anyone who it was, you know. Wait, the next day, and I'm pretty sure this is correct, mind you, again, this was a few years ago, he like golf carted to her and they hooked up. Turns out that this mystery girl whole time was his very best friend's ex-girlfriend of like 3 or 4 years. And the only reason they had found this information out of who the girl was because they all went on a Europe trip, and he told everyone, hey, I'm gonna start dating blank. And like they were all like so shocked, they were all so confused, basically like, okay, after this trip, like you're gonna need to tell him, like he's our best friend too, and like we're not gonna be friends with you after this trip. So yeah, that's the tea. And randomly when I was in college, I found out he cheated on her. Haven't I ever talked about any of these? Like, I've dated some weird and mean men. Not my boyfriend right now though, he's a saint. Your makeup is done. Also, this blush, guys, look at that. Really pigmented too. Anyways, I hope everyone has a great day. Okay, bye guys.
My best friend of 5 years just stabbed me in the back and got with my ex. And she thought I wouldn't find out, but I did. So let's do a story time. Her and I have been best friends off and on. I say off and on because she's always done things that just don't add up. But for these past 2 years, we've been solid. Like, I see her almost every single day, and when we don't see each other, we're always FaceTiming. This just happened, so I'm still freaking out. When I was with my ex, she would always insist on us 3 hanging out. Like, me and her couldn't hang out alone anymore. She'd always want him to come. And her excuse was, oh, because I want to get to know him and I need to make sure I like who you're with. After the first day that she actually met him, I forgot about this. She went and followed his Instagram, and she didn't even tell me that she was gonna follow my boyfriend at the time. Like, she just went ahead and followed him. But why did she only like one picture? A picture of him from 2 years ago. Just of him. So I screenshotted it and sent it to her and just asked her, hey, like, why? Her excuse was, oh my gosh, you know, I was stalking his page late last night to make sure like there was no girls. I was just trying to be a good friend to you, and I must have accidentally liked his selfie. I'm little delusional over here, and I believed her because she was my best friend. Oh, trust me, it's about to get way worse. I would always go to my job at a certain time. Like, my schedule has always been the same since I started there, and my boyfriend at the time would always bring me lunch. He told me he was craving Chipotle and he was gonna bring me Chipotle. He would always show up at the exact time I'd clock out for my lunch, but for some reason that day he was running a little late, and this is where I put pieces together. Him and I would share locations with each other, so I was easily just able to see where he was, but I also shared my locations with my best friend. It was at the same Chipotle that he was going to. So instead of watching his location, I just started watching hers. I saw her location slowly start moving towards my job. So I thought, delusional again, that they're coming to surprise me. Like, he came with her to surprise me. Until I saw her location stop down the street from my job. When my boyfriend showed up without her, I asked him, what were you guys doing together? I know you guys were together. He told me he had no idea what I was talking about and he had not seen her. So he denied it, so I went and asked her. And her story, same thing. I was not with him. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coincidence. She claimed that she didn't want to be in our drama and she's just going to turn her locations off permanently with me. I'm not even going to talk about him and I, but just know that we split on bad terms. But of course, when we split up, my best friend was so there for me, so supportive, and was telling me how he was trash and I didn't deserve him, and she knew all along. So how did I figure out that they've been secretly like with each other? Her and I had plans for that, and she told me that she had to cancel because her family's beach house was going to be open and no one was Airbnb-ing it, and she said that they were gonna go. Normally, when she'd go to her beach house though, I'd always get invited, and this time she insisted that it's just strictly family. So I decided I'll just take myself to Target and have like a self-care pampering night. And when I was at Target, I heard my name being called from somebody behind me. It was her mom and little brother. Then she asked me, wait, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? Then I flipped a Uno reverse. Well, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? When I tell you guys how bad my stomach dropped, then her mom says, well, I know she's there because the Ring doorbell keeps like sending me notifications. When you get a gut feeling, you just know. So I asked her, pull that up right now. And sure enough, there they were. My heart is like absolutely shattered by both of them, but just mainly because my best friend could do something like that, and I just feel like Actually, no, that story was from Reddit, and I would definitely invite that girl to Big Hearts Only Club, which is an all-girl group here in Southern California that gets together to make genuine friendships within women. For any girl who's struggling to make genuine friendships or just finds themselves feeling like their friends could be wishy-washy on a dime, that is why I created Big Hearts Only Club, for the girls and the girls only who support one another, encourage, and uplift, and aren't like that girl, and are not like that girl. Big Hearts Only Club on Instagram. I'm gonna go read